Hey there, I want to use this video to talk about the cars of Ideal City because they're the most unique thing that you can find during this event. As much as you might not use them maybe in the normal stages, I can assure you, you might want to seek their help during the EX stages and the S stages. So let's take a look at my backyard garage. There's a lot of UI that's involved in this menu, and you might not have discovered them all, which is why I think this video is going to be important. So, as if you're just starting the event out, you wouldn't have any gear that you can play with. So the first thing that you must enter will be the Gear Trading Center. The event currency that you get will accumulate over here. So every time you accumulate 80 of them, you'll be able to obtain one gear. It's not guaranteed that you'll obtain something new. As you see on the top right, it says that there's a chance for you to get a certain item. So you may get repeats, and if you get repeats, you can recycle them, which I'll show how that works later on. So let's take this example. We obtain a gear, and there you go. I've received a new front part of a gear. So if you happen to receive a photocopy and there are too many of it within your garage, then you can send it to the recycling zone, which will give you extra LMD into your account. So depending on the rarity of the gear, that will also tally to the LMD. So if it's a lower rarity one, it's 100 LMD, and if it's higher rarity, it'll be 200 LMD. They will not allow you to recycle if you don't have additional copies, so don't worry about it. Now, the one button that many of you might have missed is the Handbook. So the Handbook shows you the list of items that you can get during the event. So you can customize according to what will help your squad the best. I would take the time to run through with you guys this interface over here. So the first one reduces defense by a huge amount for 40% for any enemy in contact with it. The other one over here has a resistance. So depending on the type of damage that you go for, you can tweak the two. Although I would strongly prefer resistance because arts damage is a lot better in this event. Then you can find some weaker versions of it. As you see here, I've got 25% and 25%. There's also a freezing component which inflicts cold for 5 seconds. And if you're able to send double casts, then you can cause the enemies to freeze, which is super good. So this is 5 seconds and 3 seconds. Then afterwards, you've got a pushing module. You've also got increase in the damage that can be dealt. Then there's also stun. Now try not to use stun if you're already using cold, because technically freezing an enemy is very similar to a stun already. So I prefer the freezing mechanic because it lowers the resistance of the enemies. Then afterwards you can find even more stuff in the trunk components. So there's this one that gives SP to your allies when the car passes by them. There's another one where it heals your allies when you pass by. Then there is also ASPD, which can be super good if you can put that to use. Then we move on to the chips. So the chips have a lot of varying ones. The red ones are super fascinating because some of them can maybe make your gameplay feel a lot nicer. There's a lot of people who like the automatic chip, although I don't strongly advise it if you are going to clear some of the EX stages. It depends. Sometimes it's good, sometimes you might want even more upgrades, because this doesn't give extra stats. All it does is it makes the generator go on automatically. There are others that increase the amount of damage that's being dealt. Then there is also disabling special abilities, which if, for example, you want the enemy to slow down, maybe you don't want the increase in attack, this could be sweet. But if not, there are also some super sweet stuff like movement speed up. There's those chips that have a buff and a debuff. So like for example, this one over here, you can see there's a high movement speed, but there's an increase in the DP cost of the self-driving card. Then you've got things like less cost, but less movement speed. So there's some compensation here. But my personal favorite will be the decrease in the launch cooldown, but increase in DP cost. Because this makes it such that the car will become a merchant, just like a Lee or a J. You won't run out of DP. This will be just right if you only use one of such chip. Then I like to pair this together with the Infinite Fist, because it makes all the cars just go on automatically. But of course, if there's more than one generator, this might not be a good thing. Then afterwards, you've got DP cost down, launch time up, and other buff and debuff as well. There's those that have stickers. So it's the stickers that changes the direction of the cars. I don't really know when this is going to be important. I'm assuming maybe in some of the S stages or EX stages, there might be a winding road that explains why you might want more stickers. But if not, there's also those with no debuffs at all, but the buff is much smaller. So you have things like launch cooldown, then there is a few extra stickers, and maybe less DP. Some of these chips and components are not helpful for the normal stages, but instead they're helpful for things like the self-driver racetrack. So this thing over here does not give you any extra rewards. All you need to do is just, experience this minigame. So when you play through this minigame, it counts your number of hits. It doesn't... Okay, you do get extra hit points if you manage to kill an enemy, but if not, all you need to do is to create the best car that can help you to navigate through this a lot easier. But you have limited DP, so be very careful as to how you plan through this. I do see some videos where there are people who went above 500 hits. So they use components like pushing of the enemies. They use things like freeze. I'm not sure why freeze is supposed to help. They use decrease in DP cost so they can infinitely spawn those cars as much as they want. So try to find those components that maybe you don't use that much in the standard stage, but they might actually become helpful within here. Now, there is also an easy way to get new components without using the gear trading center. Because like I said, it's not a guarantee that you can get a new part. So in here, there's this thing called the club interaction, and you can do this 3 times a day. So the first one that you do, this one will guarantee a new gear. So try your best to always vote a car that says new gear found, and then you can see which one is unobtained. So the first interaction will definitely give you something new. See which part maybe you might want to try to get. Let's pick this one. Then you can see I've got a component. In the subsequent votes, there's a chance for you to get an equipment, but if you don't get the equipment, they'll give you LMD instead. So again, always try to pick the one that says new gear found so that you can receive something new by chance. If you don't receive it, then you get 2000 LMD. Then we do it one final time. There's new gear here. Here you go. Hey, I actually got a gear. Great, that makes me happy. So after you have voted 3 times a day, then you don't have the ability to vote anymore. You can do it the next day. So you're bound to receive most, if not all, the components by the end of the event, which there is a trim medal that states you must have 30 different components by the end. And if you want to customize your car, because your car can be sent to voting for other people to vote as well, you can customize over here. So design it any way you want, and then afterwards people might have a chance to vote for it. I don't know if you will receive gear if people happen to vote for yours. I don't think that is the case. So this is just for fun. And you can also see your car looking like this later on. If you want to customize your stuff, you can do a condition check here. So this will show you every single components that you have placed, and then you can see whether you enjoy them. If you want to change them, you can click on them, and then afterwards customize them as you wish. Either click on this or the power lab below. So sort accordingly, and if you happen to change anything, like you do this, do remember to click the finish gear. If not, they'll keep asking you, it's not safe, do you really want to leave? So that's basically all the things that you need to note when navigating this screen. Very, very interesting mechanic, and I assure you, once again, try to farm out this event, because you want to get as many components as possible to help you in the later stages. Alright, that's all that I have to mention, and I hope that you guys are enjoying Ideal City. Thanks for watching, see you soon. Bye bye.